Thank you for joining me. I've got another game for you of this rising international master sensation, Nurgyul Salimova. She played recently for the Bulgarian championships. She is the women's champion of Bulgaria, but this year she played against the men to play for their title. Now she's an international master rated 2387 now, but going into the tournament, she's facing 7 Grandmasters. So she was the 9th ranked person in the tournament, and she ends up getting second place. She's playing against this Bulgarian Grandmaster, Dimitrov Radoslav. And since they're playing for the Bulgarian title, everybody, of course, Bulgarian. This game starts as an English and ends up being the Karo-Takan defense, which turns into a Slav, which transposes into a Queen's Gambit declined. It's definitely an interesting opening. So we start with pawn to c4, that is the English opening, and then pawn to c6 is the Karo-Kan defense. Now knight c3, and the point of the Karo-Kan defense, that c6 move, which seems strange otherwise, is to push the pawn to d5, of course. And now we have pawn to d4, the Grandmaster, knight to f6 here, at knight f3, d captures on c4, d3. This opening has been played hundreds of times by the top masters, and some of these moves do change up. Like I said, this position transposes from a Karo-Kan defense to a Slav to a Queen's Gambit declined. So the positions in the game can actually be reached with different move combination. Now pawn to b5, just trying to hang on to that pawn structure on the queen side. a4 now, and again, this variation has been played many hundreds of times by the top masters, and the best possible move, just pawn to b4, attacking the knight, but unfortunately that does lose the c4 pawn. Knight now to a2 by the Grandmaster, and now pawn to e6 by Nurgyul. Defending the b4 pawn, but that does lose the c4 pawn, as I mentioned. So now bishop captures on c4 by the Grandmaster. Salimova moves her bishop to b7 here, and the Grandmaster develops his bishop to d2. We have a5 by Salimova, best possible move in the position. And now the Grandmaster repositions his knight to c1. We have knight to d7, I should say knight b to d7 by Salimova, and the Grandmaster now routes his knight to b3. Seems like kind of a perhaps odd spot for the knight, but again, this has happened in many games. This exact same molecule of a chess position has happened in 10 other master games. So I should have mentioned earlier, you can kind of look at their clocks and see how much time they've used. They got 30 seconds for each move, and they've now played 11 moves, and they're only down less than 3 minutes, or 3 minutes-ish. So they're using, on average, about 30 seconds, a little more than 30 seconds per move. Play continues with Salimova moving her bishop to e7 here, and now the Grandmaster castles. She castles as well. Best possible moves to make at the time. Before you get to big time battle, you definitely want to get your kings castled. You want to get them safe. Interesting thing here, the chess molecule that we saw just a couple moves ago had only occurred 10 other times, but now we've made a couple of moves, and this exact molecule of a chess position, the structure of it, has happened 49 other times in previous master games. The Grandmaster continues with queen to e2, and now we have pawn to c5 by Salimova, just trying to lock down the position. The Grandmaster now moves his rook to d1 here, and Salimova moves her queen now to b6. We now have bishop back to e1, which is the best possible move in the position. Interesting thing, I've actually seen that a fair bit recently, where the bishop comes back and helps defend. I think there was a Magnus Carlsen game that happened recently where he did a similar thing. Let's continue. As I said, that was the best possible move to be made in the position. Rook A to C8 by Salimova, and now bishop to B5 by the Grandmaster. Salimova plays C captures on D4, and we have knight captures on D4 by the Grandmaster, saying actually it would have been better to move to capture with the other knight. Yeah, this knight wasn't too bad there. That was a decent spot for it. Perhaps worried about the bishop trade, but the other knight would be defending, so this would have been a fine way to defend. It would just this knight's kind of lame over there. It would have been better to be the knight here and have, yeah, the other knight on f3 would have been a better position for the Grandmaster. But let's continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. We have knight to c5 by Salimova. This is the best possible move in the position. And now we have pawn to f3 by the Grandmaster. This is not the best move in the position. Actually, it would have been better to get this, again, just try to get this knight to a better square. Would have been a better way to go. And actually, it is as of this move, finally on move 18, that this chess molecule has never happened before. There's been no master games that have gone exactly to this position. So we have a brand new game, finally, as of move 18. Play continues with Salimova capturing that knight on b3. It's kind of a lame placed knight, but this is actually the best possible move in the position by the international master. And the Grandmaster, of course, captures back with knight captures on b3. And now Salimova plays bishop to d5. Gaining a pretty nice square for her bishop, attacking the knight, gaining a tempo here. The Grandmaster moves his knight back to d2 now, best spot he could find for it. And now Salimova moves her pawn to e5 here. Might have been better actually to move the rook to c2 here, just, you know, giving yourself a chance to double the rooks on the c file, just take over an ideal attacking position. You know, rooks really like open files. Doubling your rooks on the open file, that would really cut into the Grandmaster's position. But we'll continue with what happened on the chessboard. I should have mentioned, though, as we were going into this chess game, the variations that had happened before. The last Grandmaster game that I did, Salimova beat up on another Grandmaster in the same tournament, another Bulgarian. He'd actually played the exact same line a couple of times, which actually I'm going to be playing this sort of opening, well, from Black's perspective, I'm going to be trying to follow somewhat in Salimova's footsteps with the Karl Khan defense. Anyway, let's continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. We now have knight to c4 by the Grandmaster, kind of giving himself a semi-loose piece. So the bishop defends, bishop attacks, queen defends, rook attacks. This is the best possible move in the position, just activating that knight, putting pressure on the e5 pawn. Salimova continues by moving her queen back to c7, defending the pawn, putting additional pressure on the knight. So now there are three attackers here, so threatening to capture. The Grandmaster defends with rook to c1, and now Salimova moves her pawn forward to e4. You can see now that these masters are taking more time. Each of their moves is taking more time off their clocks, down to, what, 40 minutes, and just under an hour for the Grandmaster in this position. So Salimova down almost 20 minutes here. The Grandmaster continues with pawn captures on f4, and yeah, this is creating a pawn weakness here. He should not have done that. There's actually a pretty creative thing that he could have done to gain tempo and improve his position. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that right now. So instead here, the Grandmaster should have played bishop to a6 here, gaining a tempo on the rook. You know, the rook would capture, you know, or the rook would attack back, of course, but now you can actually go with danger levels, right? So we're attacking a bishop, but you can attack the queen instead with bishop to g3, just, you know, getting a piece nicely developed, but also attacking the queen. So the queen's got to save herself. And so, yeah, queen to b7 is actually best. And now you can just go ahead and move the bishop back to b5 and just kind of gain some control of the position. This would be a much better position for white than what's actually going to happen in the actual game. But let's go back to what actually happened in that chess game now. So instead, the Grandmaster captured on e4. Yeah, this wasn't the best move because it creates a pawn weakness. So Salimova plays bishop captures e4, and now we have this isolated pawn here, which this is a target for a lion. Yeah, and Salimova, Nurgyul Salimova, I think, is somewhat of a lioness on the chessboard. The Grandmaster plays the strongest move in the position here, though. He gains the tempo with the move we saw. Bishop to g3 here, queen to a7, as we saw in that variation by Salimova, and now knight d6 by the Grandmaster. Salimova moves her rook to d8. I should say she plays rook c to d8 here, attacking the bishop. The engine, so Stockfish 15 doesn't really like this. It says actually go ahead and trade for the knight. And this will bring it closer to a drawish position. Yeah, the computer often tries to play for a draw for black pieces. I don't know if it's programmed in. I know Grandmasters a lot of times play for the draw with the black pieces. Anyway, let's continue with what actually happened on the chessboard. The Grandmaster lifts his rook to d4 here, and Salimova moves her bishop back to g6. White plays pawn to h3 here, and we have knight to h5 by Salimova. Attack the bishop here, and the Grandmaster moves his bishop back to h2. Salimova moves her bishop to g5 here, attacking that unprotected pawn, attacking that isolated pawn, I should say. Yeah, this is a mistake. The Grandmaster actually could have punished her for this move. We'll take a look at that variation here. The Grandmaster doesn't catch her on it. He plays the wrong move. He plays rook to e1 here. But we'll take a look quickly here at what he should have done in this position to punish this move. So the Grandmaster should have played pawn to h4 here, defended by the rook, of course driving the bishop back, and then pawn to g4 here, attacking the knight, driving that knight away. Knight to f4 would be the best move for black, and then rook captures knight, sacrificing the exchange on f4 for white. Rook captures knight on d6 would be best for black, and now pawn to g5 by white. Bishop to h5 would be best for black, attacking the queen. Queen to f2 would be the best spot there, and then rook f to d8 would be the best play for black here. Pawn captures bishop finally on h6 by white, and pawn captures h6, or g captures h6 by black. And yeah, chaos on the chessboard. Everything got shredded here. But if you look at through the ashes here, you might see that white is up a bishop here. White has an extra bishop, but then of course we have the dark squared bishop for white. Yeah, this would have been a much better way to go for the Grandmaster, but luckily for our hero, Nurgyul Salimova, that's not what happened on the chessboard. Let's go back and take a look at what actually did happen in the game now. So instead, the Grandmaster plays rook to e1 here, and we continue with Salimova playing queen to e7 here. The Grandmaster then continues by playing pawn to g4 here, kicking the knight. Salimova does move her knight back to f6, best possible spot for it, of course. And now we have bishop to g3 by the Grandmaster. Salimova repositions her knight to e4 here, attacking the bishop. And the Grandmaster goes ahead. Well, I mean, this is forcing, attacking the bishop, but also putting another attacker on the d6 knight. So the Grandmaster does play knight captures on e4. We have bishop captures on e4 by Salimova. And now best possible move by the Grandmaster. Well, maybe pause your video for a second. What would you play in this position? Working our way into maybe a, try to get a winning endgame. He does find the best possible move, does this Grandmaster. Can you find it? Hopefully you've paused your video if that's what you want to do here. But the Grandmaster plays pawn to h4 here, attacking the bishop. Salimova does find the best possible move, bishop to f6 here, attacking the rook. Seems like a pretty serious threat. I mean, you're attacking a 5-point piece with a 3-point piece. White should probably do something about it, right? Well, the Grandmaster just attacks the bishop with pawn to g5. Best possible move again. Basically asking Nurgyul to go ahead and capture the rook. So, of course, she does just that. She plays bishop captures rook on d4. We now have pawn captures on d4 by the Grandmaster, and Nurgyul does grab the pawn on d4 with her rook. The Grandmaster now plays bishop back to f2. Again, the best possible move in the position, attacking Nurgyul's rook. So, of course, she's got to move her rook again, right? Wrong. She displays rook f2 d8 here. And again, the computer calling this a brilliant move. It's impressed. It says it's truly amazing. So you've impressed Stockfish with this move, Nurgyul. The computer is blown away by it. Nicely done. Offering her rook for the bishop. The Grandmaster obliges and goes ahead and plays bishop captures on d4. This was actually a mistake. He should not have done that. We're actually going to back up here and take a look at what he should have played in order to draw this position. He should have been able to get a drawn position here. This move, this capturing of the rook was actually a mistake and will cost him the game. Let's go look at what he should have done now. So instead of capturing the rook here, the Grandmaster actually should have played bishop to c6 here. Just putting pressure on this pinned piece. It's pinned to the queen, so it's not going anywhere. Best play would be pawn to f5 by black, and then en passant could be played here. So g captures on f6 ep. We would have queen captures f6, and then bishop captures d4 would be best for white. Rook then threatens the queen with rook to d2 would be best play for black. Queen now to f3, best for white. And then we would trade queens. And black would pick up this pawn here, but we're pretty much even here. Some different material, so there are some definite winning chances for white. White's got 3 pieces, so maybe white wins this game. Maybe black wins this game. Black is up a point here. But this would definitely be a position that a Grandmaster should be able to get a draw in, at least. Anyway, let's go back to what actually happened in the chess game. So the Grandmaster does make a mistake and plays bishop captures rook on d4. Seems like a reasonable move. We continue with Nurgyul, of course, capturing with rook captures on d4. And now we have bishop back to d3, kind of the same idea, that the bishop is pinned here, but this is a mistake, and Nurgyul does punish him for it. He should have, again, instead moved the bishop to c6. This was the right way to put pressure. Bishop to c6 instead would have been a defensible position. This is not. And Nurgyul plays queen to c5 here, and just setting up a pin. Setting up a discovered attack on the king here, using a discovered attack tactic to win material here. And there's really no way to save the position here. The bishop is lost. The Grandmaster does try queen to queen e3 here. Nurgyul goes ahead and plays bishop captures bishop on d3. We have queen back to e8 by the Grandmaster, and Nurgyul defends by just dropping her queen back to f8. This was forced. She had no choice. The Grandmaster continues by dropping his queen back to c6, threatening to play rook to e8 here. Nurgyul just goes ahead and drops her rook back to d8. And it is in this position on move 41 that the Grandmaster does resign the game, which is interesting. He does have 1 minute on his clock, or 59 seconds, and Nurgyul does have more time on her clock. She is up a piece and a pawn here, so it would be very difficult to defend, although maybe somebody blunders here. Maybe he just wanted to keep the game pretty. I don't know. It seems like with so little time on the clock, he might have played it out here. There is definitely no clear path to victory for either player. White doesn't really have any chance if this was a classical time control, if the players had hours on their clock. But with only moments, it seems like it could still be anybody's game. But yeah, this is where the game ended. The Grandmaster did resign the game to Nurgyul Salimova. So she's moving up the ranks. Maybe she's going to be a Grandmaster soon. She actually got the silver medal in her nation's championship for chess. And her nation does love chess. They have a lot of Grandmasters there. Like you saw, there were 7 Grandmasters that played for this title. And yeah, she got the silver medal here. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of Nurgyul. She's got hundreds of games that I could cover. So should I go back and look at some of her games against strong players? Let me know. I would like your opinion on that. Please join me, subscribe, like. I'm going to be doing at least 5 game reviews a week. I'm also going to be covering some chess tactics, doing checkmate patterns and shorts and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're into chess, you want to master this game with me, please join me. I'm also teaching online classes. I have through Zoom. I can do group or intermediate, or I can do group or individual classes. The group chat classes are very affordable. Yeah, if we can get 100 people signed up, then we'll do it for, what is it? I think it's $7 a class. So, yeah, check out my email is in the description. So anyway, thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.